I'd like to invite now Vinay. Vinay is a person who has worked with IT companies like IBM, Infosys. He recently did his PGPX program, which is a program for higher executives who come laterally into IIM. And he was working with Torrent, I think, Torrent? Reliance. He was working with Reliance Energy. But deep down inside, he felt that there's something that he wants to get engaged with learning and education. So he's joined EI. He's taking care of the product called Detailed Assessment. He'll do a short presentation on that. And then we will do detailed assessment together. Okay, Vinay.
Hello.
That are happening, whether it is the CC, CBSE's new focus on semester-based exams, or what is happening even in Gujarat with semesters coming in. Even when you look at the structure of an exam, it is also changing. There is more and more of objective type questions that are coming in, or there is more of a holistic picture that schools are trying to get into. So CC, for example, has a scholastic part and a non-scholastic part. So while a whole lot of that is really good, it also has its own implications on the teachers. The teacher's role is really expanding. It is no longer just taking a syllabus, trying to deliver the syllabus and do a set of activities. The teacher's role, I believe, is evolving more as a mentor to students, where they have to engage with the students on more of a personal level, try to understand the person as an individual and try to provide specific feedback to them, which is part of the personalized thing that we talked about. And increasing parent expectations. Myself being a part of that circle, I can pretty much relate to what is happening. India as an economy, it has been booming for the last 10 years, and everyone sees that knowledge economy is where people can move across economic, bands. So everyone, even if I talk to someone who is not really economically very up there today, they are willing to spend a significant amount of money on education today, because everyone sees education as a path to get into an economically prosperous situation. Also, the understanding or the whole IT thing that is happening has created a very strong awareness, and that on the schools also it creates its own pressures. Parents expect a lot more from the schools. They expect a lot more kind of individual feedback, a lot more personal attention given to students. So it is in this context that we have thought of detailed assessment. If you look at it, assessment is actually part of, it's at the center of all these things that are happening, and that is why we thought of doing something on the assessment part. So we had a theory, we had a hypothesis that there is a case to improve effectiveness of assessment in schools. So we had this based on the discussions we had with schools for the last 1 or 2 years, the things that are happening in the environment, so on and so forth. So we wanted to actually validate this. We talked to about 30 plus schools. Some of those are present in this room also today, all over India, to find out if they believed there is a case to improve effectiveness of assessment in schools. This is what we heard. From the management, principals like you said that they would like to have a standardized assessment framework in the school. Assessments do happen, but really I am not able to compare one test with another test. So do I know whether things have actually improved, or is it a more easier test that was given, or is it something else? So I would want to know if there is a standardized way in which assessment is happening. Second is, how do I find out how best to help my teachers? I conduct various programs, but those are generic. Again, there is no customization there. There is no individualization there. Different teachers might actually need different kinds of help. Maybe a teacher who is teaching maths might be very good in geometry, for example. What is applicable to students is also applicable for teachers. Certain teachers are oriented in a different way. Maybe someone is teaching algebra extremely well. So can I look at opportunity to cross-train teachers? Can I look at opportunity to provide specific training within maths on a specific topic, or within science on a specific topic? And third, if I provide these interventions, these improvement interventions, how do I really know whether they are working or not working? There is a lot of effort which all schools are doing at the teacher level, at the school level. See, as Sudhir mentioned, I was out of the school system as such till about a year back. So one does not really know how much of effort both schools and teachers are putting into trying to make education more and more effective. But from whatever I have been speaking in this last few months, I do realize that there is a lot of effort with schools and teachers do put in. But how do I make sure if it is really creating the kind of impact that you want, or is it not doing that? Consistency and objectivity of tests and evaluation. One class gets 70%, another class gets 80%. So is it to do with a different profile of students? Is it to do with different teaching? Is it to do with the different test? How do I know? Especially if you look at the test, there is a lot of subjective component there. People have to write a lot of essays. So do I give 7 marks out of 10, 6 marks out of 10, 5 marks out of 10? Is there a standard way which guides that? There are question marks there. And I really want to teach, I want my teachers to teach for concepts. I tell them that. I create a lot of programs and a lot of asset also, one of those things which all of you do for the school. The whole idea is that the teacher should start teaching for concepts. But how do you ensure that? This is what we heard from the school management. Teachers, the scope has significantly improved. It's the same entity, a teacher, but the same teacher has got to do so many more things now. The teacher has to observe the values of a child, the teacher has to observe group dynamics, the teacher has to observe non-scholastic things, teacher has to design new projects. At the same time, teacher also has to teach and assess academic learning. So it seems like it is only going to increase. The effort and time I put in on evaluating tests is simply going to increase. Most of the schools that we talk to, teachers have to correct more than 150 to 200 tests every week. A lot of that subjective. Each test, even if you are talking about 15 questions in a test, that's a very high amount of questions that a teacher has to go through on a weekly basis. I really love to teach, but I'm not able to focus on that. There are just too many things that I need to do. So even if I know that a particular area needs to be focused on in the class, I simply do not have the time to do that, nor the tools to do that. The insight from the test results are too little, too late. I do get a sense of what the class needs once I correct the test papers, but by the time the results coming, it is typically 4 to 8 days. By then I have moved on to another topic, and what insights I get are not very crystal clear, not crisp. So I do some remediation, but it is not probably as good as it can be. And many have said that it would really help if we can get high quality topic tests readily for us. Students and parents, obviously exam pressure is something that we hear about all the time from newspapers for all the bad reasons. It would be nice to get individual feedback. Just look at, I myself as a parent, when I see if my son gets say 65% marks in a particular test, what do I make of it? Do I say that I need to go and sit with him for the entire topic, or do I say that I go and talk to the teacher as to please teach him the whole thing again? What do I do with the 65%? It's just a number which tells me where the person stands in the entire set, but it does not provide me any forward-looking feedback. So can I get some individual feedback? Imagine after every test if I get a feedback which says this is how you can improve. These are your areas of weakness and this is how you can improve on each test. That too immediately. The amount of change that can happen in 1 year could be very, very high. So we saw a set of concerns which schools, parents and teachers expressed, and we knew our own competencies, which is essentially the ability to deep dive into a student's mind and figure out what misconceptions are there or how they can be improved further. And we came up with detailed assessment. This is essentially a marriage of the emerging set of requirements from schools and parents and what we have built over a period of 10 years. So what exactly is detailed assessment? It is personalized testing. What we mean by that is we design topic-wise tests which are customized to the curriculum that you follow. So it is not a generic curriculum, it is not based only on NCERT, it is based on the textbooks that you follow. And when I say it is based on the textbooks that we follow, we are not saying we will ask only things that are there in the textbook, but it is essentially to ensure that only concepts that are taught by the teacher are tested in the test. It is predominantly concept diagnostics. 60 to 70% of the test will test for concept diagnostics, 30 to 40% will test for procedural correctness. Instantaneous feedback. We will be able to deliver the results which is scores as well as diagnostics and remediation within 48 hours. We have done over 125 tests in the last 1.5 months across the country. Many schools again are here who have been participant in that journey. And on an average, with about 75% of the test, we are able to give the results within 8 hours actually. So this is where we leverage technology, but technology is not the primary focus. The primary focus is to try and get back the feedback in a short time so that it is much more valuable. Along with the feedback, there is remediation support. We'll look at some examples which will make it a lot more clearer. And then there are reports for the principal, the teacher, and the student. We'll see how those reports make sense. I'll just run through a typical assessment cycle and how that would change with detailed assessment. A teacher starts teaching a topic, prepares the test, administers, evaluates, and scores the test. Typical time elapsed is 4 to 8 days. Now, what are the typical characteristics of such an assessment? In the test preparation, it is more of predictable questions. So children typically know, out of these 5 or 7, I will get 2 or 3. So they just have to prepare for those 5 or 7. Inconsistent quality, it is more by nature of it being person dependent than intentional. And it is testing predominantly procedural understanding. Evaluation, highly effort intensive. Turnaround time is not good enough for you to remediate immediately, and there's a lot of subjectivity. Feedback and remediation, predominantly on scores. And wherever the remediation does happen, we have examples where we see that it is addressing mainly the symptoms. We'll see an example which will make it very clear. A very typical question. Write the factorized form of 4x plus 32. We find, let's say, majority of the class gets this incorrect. We actually went to some schools to find out how they would teach this problem in class. Okay, and this is what was told to us. Break down the constants into prime factors, take out the common ones. So this is the answer, which is fine, which is correct. But take the same question and turn it around into a conceptual question and see how the difference is. The same question is asked, saying which of these are factorized forms of 4x plus 32. And you see nearly 60% of the children are answering C. So it is not that they do not understand how to factorize that particular question, that particular equation, but the misconception is they do not know that a factorized form should have only one term. Even this insight given to a teacher makes a tremendous difference to the approach a teacher takes in teaching the same concept to the class. So this is one of the questions we have in our detailed assessment. So this is how, the same question turned around for a conceptual understanding makes a lot of difference. So how will the same cycle change with detailed assessment? The first thing is, if you'll see, the cycle or the process remains pretty much the same. So the reason is we want to involve minimal disruption for teachers. As it is, we are saying teachers are having to do a lot of stuff. So they should not be having to learn a lot more new stuff to get some advantages. So technology or any solution or any tool that is provided should integrate seamlessly with what they do, so that they can simply take the benefits rather than having to spend a lot of effort in trying to learn something new. At the same time, remediation as a step gets integrated firmly and is an institutionalized process of the whole cycle. We'll see how. One critical aspect of this is the time, turnaround time is only 48 hours now. So while I'm teaching a topic itself, I get to know. For example, if I'm teaching equations, the example we saw earlier, today I have completed the topic, probably by day after tomorrow I know this is a misconception the children have. So it is a lot more valuable for, the feedback is a lot more valuable because I can correct the issue right now. So how will the same characteristics change? In test preparation, while the questions are unpredictable, because it is all going to ask for application, majority will be asking for application of the concept. So one cannot really prepare for a test as such, You can simply go out and let out what you know about the subject. There is no preparation as such for the test. But the quality will be consistent because it is being prepared by a team which has been doing research in that same thing for the last 10 years. The quality will be consistent. It is standardized and tests for conceptual understanding. The evaluation, the feedback is immediate. It redirects the teacher's effort. So for a teacher, my entire effort is shifting from preparing and correcting test papers to actually utilizing the test results. And the evaluation is objective and consistent. Feedback and remediation, how it will change is focus on conceptual feedback. In each report, along with the misconceptions that are there for a particular topic, we also provide specific remedial measures that a teacher can take. So the teacher, let's again look at the same scenario. I have taught equations today. Tomorrow morning I can conduct a test, and day after tomorrow morning I have a quick sheet which says these are the 3 or 4 misconceptions, and this is how you can address it. Some best practices that we know based on our interaction with schools and our own research. And it will address the root cause. So how will it impact? So this is where we'll see the reports. So for a teacher, for the school management, it ensures standardized assessments. Now you are clear that the entire school is going to do remediation after every topic, and the quality of remediation is oriented for conceptual learning. That is assured because it is now part of your system. There is no subjectivity. Maybe a teacher is teaching certain conceptual things, maybe a teacher is teaching procedural things that is not there. Institutionalized remediation, ensured teaching to concepts, and impact measurement tool. For example, let's say you have 6 sections for a particular class. You can choose to take a particular test for 3 sections, get the report. Based on the remediation measures suggested, you can design an improvement program, teach the remaining 3 sections including the measurement improvement programs, and test the 3 sections after that. The tests will be comparable, so the results will tell you if the programs are making a dent or no. Okay, this is only at one test level, but across the school, over the years, this will really provide quantum benefits. For the teachers, we had some very nice experiences. Now I'll just share one particular question. Okay, this is one question in geometry, which says which of these shapes have an area, and many children do not realize that shape 3 has an area. So conceptually, they are not clear that any closed surface will have an area. So group of teachers discussed this, and they themselves got very motivated. So they got children to do things like, okay, keep your hand on the paper, draw the outline of your hand, and see what is the area of that, or do you have an area for that or not. So for teachers, it becomes extremely engaging now. So instead of having to focus on whether it is right or wrong and giving marks on time, etc., I can actually look at what are the issues my children are facing, be creative in terms of trying to solve those things. So it is very engaging and motivating for the teachers also. Obviously, the effort is reduced and leads to a better teaching experience, because I really am now knowing exactly what the issues are. I myself am engaged with the topic. It is a much better teaching experience and obviously improved learning for the class. For the students, we have a student report coming out of every detailed assessment. So after every test, the student will also get a report which says these are the concepts that you are strong on, and this is what you should do to improve your performance in this particular topic. And it is all at a concept level. It is not procedural. So another of the graphs which Sridhar had showed, where the same misconception is carried throughout for almost 5-6 years. If you nip it in the bud, a stitch in time will lead to really exponential benefits over the student's lifetime. Because at every point, whenever the misconception is introduced, you are providing tools for the teacher as well as the student to remediate and correct that particular misconception. So this is an example of the teacher report. Typically, children have a confusion between ratios and fractions. So if I cut a paper in 2, if I ask for a ratio, they might still say it is 1/2, 1:2. So that is a very clear and a strong misconception which is existing in many of the places. So one of the remediation suggested was you use the same object to highlight both fractions and ratios. So instead of teaching fractions separately and ratio and proportion separately, maybe you need to mix the two at some point. Okay, so break a pizza into what fraction is 1/2, it is 1/2. What is the ratio of the 2 halves? 1:1. So that kind of remediation will help. And it is very, very engaging for children. The questions, all the 120 odd tests that we have done, children absolutely love it. There is a technology intervention, but more than that, it is the quality of questions which really makes it extremely exciting for the children. Just look at a couple of these questions. First question says, I am running in a jungle and there is a group of elephants which is running after me. If I run zigzag, if I take a zigzag road, I stand a better chance of escaping. Which law of physics is applicable here? I am suddenly engaged with the whole subject right now. I am no longer looking at it in abstraction. I have learned something in a textbook. I am coming and reproducing. It's not like that. I'm engaged with the whole topic. Same thing if you look at the next question. I have hit a coin, and while the striker is in motion, how many forces are acting on that? So most would answer 2, whereas its answer is only 1. The striker does not need any force while it is in motion. But mostly, including me when I took it the first time, answer 2. The fact that I hit it and the force of friction on the board. So it makes the whole thing extremely engaging and very enjoyable for students. So we believe DA has the potential to transform your regular assessments into a very, very powerful learning tool. And as with everything, the more subtle ones really have the potential to be the most powerful. See, one of the fundamental things that will happen here is you are starting to measure conceptual understanding. And we all know that people manage what is measured. So here, the scores or the marks are all given for conceptual understanding. So the students also start learning for understanding of concepts, and teachers also start teaching for understanding of concepts. We'll quickly take you through how it will be implemented. Okay. So let's say a school signs up. We take the textbooks that the school is following, say in March, and we start studying those textbooks to build our own test inventory. So when a teacher is teaching in school, she decides that, okay, I'm going to start teaching algebra on day 1. So the teacher logs in. There is a system that will be provided to the school. The teacher sees the same list of chapters that are there in the textbook. So here again, there is no new learning curve. I don't have to figure out what subtopics are being taught that are covered here. I just know these are the chapters that I am teaching. I decide, okay, I am teaching chapter 8, chapter 9. Okay, it's gone a bit up. That's fine. And I want a test on this particular date. Let's say 7 days later. So I decide I want a test on this particular date, and I go about teaching my lesson. On the 6th day, that is 1 day before the test, this test is delivered to the system. It is available for the teacher to go through, take printouts and administer in the class. The test is given on the, say, 7th day, and by the 8th day, you will have the feedback. The feedback will have the class feedback, which is about misconceptions and how the teacher can remediate. It has got individual reports for all the 30-40 students that have taken the test, and the principal report whenever there is a multiple section test happening there. Effect is you have effective remediation and feedback support within 48 hours of taking the test. Small clip on children actually taking the test. See, we ensure that children still answer the test using a regular paper and pen. So whatever steps they are doing today, that should not change. The teacher should have all the material that she has today to get a finer sense of where exactly children are going wrong. At the end of the test, we distribute mobile devices to all the students where they simply transfer the answers. We will be doing that in a short way here also. So let's have a 40-minute test. I take the test for 40 minutes. I solve all the questions on an answer sheet. End of it, I provide the mobile devices. Take back all the question papers and the answer sheets and the mobile devices. Using the mobile devices, we are able to capture
challenging, which tested their knowledge on the topic taught and how well it was taught, very importantly. And secondly, it got the answers to those immediately after it was downloaded on those devices. So that will help to get your results immediately, which can then be dealt with as to what is exactly in the class, what concept has to be explained.
So this is how we implement it in schools. We have DA on mobiles also, and schools can take it on their computer lab also. But the questions and the whole thing will not be either on the mobile or the computers. The technology intervention is only to ensure that we get back the results, the answers in a very quick time so that we can do our analysis and share it with all of you. The entire exam taking process will still be paper and pencil based. Those schools who are doing it on mobiles will get one kit of 40 mobiles. EI will be responsible for maintaining all of them. There are enough backup mechanisms, so in case a mobile conks out during the test and all, there are enough backup mechanisms available. Also, a couple of things about the mobile. Right now, we are taking absolutely normal phones with which we do the test. But once we go live, we hope to have a customized device which will be even more easier to use. As it is, children don't find this difficult to use at all. And test admission will be only one section at a time. On a CBT, computer needs to be on a LAN. Packages 3 to 10 classes, math, science and English. And it is, since there is really no syllabus here, it is based on your textbook. So we can say it caters to state, CBSE, IG. We will do a small pilot of the detailed assessment here. All of you have been given a ratio and fractions test for class 5. So you have about 25 minutes to do the test, and there are mobiles also there. Once you have done the test, I will explain how the mobile has to be used. So we can start doing the test now. In about 25 minutes, we will stop the test and we will use the mobiles. The mobile usage will take about 5 minutes only. So we'll explain that after exactly 25 minutes.
The testing is not optional. All of you have to do it. We will not know who has done the test. So please don't worry, we come to know whether you know fractions or not. This objective is more for you to get an experience of how children feel when they get tested. Do they have to write their name? Don't write their name. You don't need to write your name on the paper. You can choose to write it.
Yeah, the result for your paper would be against the roll number. The roll number is there on your answer sheet as well as on the mobile number.
क्या हुआ? Have they been given answer sheets to solve, or they have to write it?
There is an answer sheet with the question paper for all of you. Please solve the questions and tick mark the right option on the question paper too. You don't have?
Answer sheet has not been given? Okay, question papers are still to be given here. Yeah, that is the answer sheet.
Oh, there are some.
One sec. Yeah, just start solving the paper, we'll get the answer sheet to you. Yeah, you have to tick the answer on the paper also. The rough paper is given for you to work out. It's like a working sheet. Where is the answer?
Needs the answer sheet. Huh. Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
Okay,
it says on the top that darken the oval, but that is not to be done. Just tick mark the right option on the question, against the question.
There is no answer sheet. A small clarification. Please mark the answers on the question paper itself. This paper is more for you to solve it. It's like a rough sheet.
Always. If you just click your mobile, it will show question number 1 and a block for answer.
Can you get him?
हाँ.
वीडियो वाले को बोल के दिखाएं.
Excuse me. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. So you will see question number 1 and there is a box for answer.
Focus, focus.
Focus नहीं दिख रहा. Yeah. Just type in 1, 2, 3 or 4 and click on next. You will see question number 2. Just enter your option there.
1, 2, 3 or 4 is related to your options choices A, B, C, D or whatever is. Can you go to the first screen how to start? No, just say next. You don't have to say submit. You have to answer every question and say next. Next is there.
It went into back.
Just go back.
What is the test code?
Answer and next.
Aishwarya? What is the test code? 605. Yeah.
A corresponds to 1, B corresponds to 2.
Okay. So this is how the analysis will look like. 59% on an average, basic understanding of fractions is best. Equivalent fractions needs to improve. But of course, this is for class 5. For the principals, it is much better. For the principals, there are no misconceptions. On an average, it is 73%. Okay, so in this particular test that all of you took, 70 took the test, so 70 results are there. The initial section will show just a summary as to what went, right, where it needs improvement. The second section shows the misconceptions and how they need to be addressed. That I will show in the actual 5th class report. In this, obviously, there is nothing. And at the bottom, you will have individual scores. So this is where, these are the 4 components of the topic that were tested. Okay, basic understanding of fractions, equivalent fractions, comparison of fractions, mixed and improper fractions. So one topic was taken, it was broken up into 4 subtopics, and concepts and misconceptions in all those 4 were tested. And if you go below, you will have individual scores. This will give you performance by each subtopic, and this is finally where the scores come in. So those who are, the top 11 roll numbers, you can check your roll numbers and they are all 100%. Sorry? I will have to check. Okay, but if you look at a similar report for an actual class 5, you see that they need improvement in equivalent fractions. So if you go down, right, option A is the wrong one, and over 57% have chosen option A. So what the details shows is students choosing A seem to have a wrong notion that number of circles shaded correspond to the numerator and number of circles unshaded are the denominator. So rather than understanding the entire number as a fraction, they are taking numerators as a separate digit and denominators as a separate digit. So once you know this kind of a misconception, it is not so difficult to remediate that. Similarly, if you go down, the next misconception would be explained. Students choosing C, again over 57%, are not aware that the parts need to be identical to represent a fraction. Right? So this is how the result can come. Though we say 48 hours, as you have seen, in this case it was within 45 minutes that we got the results. And each result will have this kind of a detail where specific misconceptions in each topic that you have tested will be identified and remediation support will be provided in the report itself. The scores would be there, and a similar report, a shorter version, would be available for each student. So obviously the remediation recommendation given for student A will be different from that given to student B, depending on how each student has answered the questions. And what really helps us do all of this is the way the questions are built. So there is a lot of rigor behind developing each question. So, the reason a misconception like this can be given, students choosing option C are not aware that parts need to be identical, is the whole lot of thinking that has to go in designing option C. That is the most critical part. So, so this is a class 5 test. Okay, so anyway, the point is the designing of questions in micro components allows us to give back this kind of a feedback at class, school and an individual level very quickly, and the quick turnaround time really makes a difference in terms of your ability to remediate the concept. If I have just taught this yesterday and today I get to know these 3-4 things, then it is a lot more easier to go back to class, correct the misconceptions and move on with the next topic. Okay, so that's what we have to share. Thank you. Against each question it is given. So we are building another version of the reports which will have specific actions which are much more clear. Here it is only talking about why that misconception is happening. The next version of reports which will come, which will be before we go live in June, will have specific recommendations as to what do you need to do in the class to clear this misconception. As we saw in the presentation, that was a sample report, but similar reports would be available for every topic test. It will be a one-pager which will have just the misconception and what needs to be done to remove the misconception. Okay, thank you so much.